All right. Hello, everybody. We have this super fun bonus interview. I think I said this earlier that we have had so many people, like so many women, when I put this out to our community and just said, like, hey, who wants to do this wellness challenge? So many women came forth that have really cool things to offer. And Caitlin is one of them. And she offers some stuff that didn't even know existed. And I'm going to let her tell you a little bit a little bit about what she does and the type of healing that she does. But yeah, so Caitlin, why don't you introduce yourself and let everybody know all about you? Maybe
Great.
not all about you, a little about you.
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Arce, and I have a business in Denver called 100 Leaf Healing Arts. And the gist of it is I do womb healing. So womb healing for women's reproductive health issues, yes, but also womb healing for embodiment and kind of getting to know the secrets and the answers that our womb holds within it for us.
That is fascinating. So I need to know more about this because honestly, when you first reached out to me and you were like, I would love to participate and I do womb healing, I was like, what the heck is that? That sounds crazy and pretty awesome also. So can you just walk me through like what kind of a typical session looks like with you? And like if I was a new client with you coming to you, what do I do in a womb healing session?
Yeah, for sure. So it definitely looks different depending on what someone's focus is. So like a woman that's coming to me, I mean, pretty much every session we're going to be addressing physical, emotional, spiritual needs, desires, and but if a woman's coming to me for like treating PCOS and she's been treating it medically and is looking for some support with holistic elements, or if a woman's coming to me because she has ongoing anxiety and really just wants to feel more grounded, more at home in her body, like those sessions might look really different.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, so my background, in addition to the holistic womb healing, is in psychotherapy. So typically all of my sessions start by just talking through things. I went to a contemplative education, so we do a lot of like guided meditation just to see what's really there, because I'm a big fan of like, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. Our body knows what's up. We just have to get really good at listening.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think our body definitely knows a lot more than than we give it credit for sometimes. Or that we're just not really, listening to. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. So like for me, when I started doing womb healing, I didn't even know that my womb was something I should be like, I could be listening to, let alone should be like, let alone that would be helpful information. I was like, oh, that's just a thing that lives down there.
Well, and I think so many of us, like, I mean, I could say that I probably don't have like the best relationship with my womb all the time.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think, for so long, it's like we have our monthly cycle and it's like not comfortable. And it often brings up, I mean, I think a lot of times too, I can remember being in middle school and being so embarrassed when I first got my period and all these different things. And, I think that like there can be shame involved with that sometimes, depending on, I mean, I worked in the high school and I definitely had students who had been sexually assaulted and different things like that were, definitely a lot of trauma in that region. I myself, we talked about this a little bit before, Caitlin, but I myself I've had miscarriages and I'm pretty open about that. And so, and I know there's a lot of women that I know who have had fertility issues. So I think that relationship, because of all these different things that go on in our life, whether we have had an easy time of things where we get our monthly cycle. I mean, I just think we all have these like very complicated relationships with our bodies, and especially the reproductive parts of our bodies, I think the relationship gets interesting.
Yeah. So that's what I started noticing when I started working with clients in this way, is that is that to have your womb touched. So I do womb massage, right? So it's in the pelvis, but all external work. And women have a lot of complex emotions come up around giving attention to the womb, because like you said, you know, a lot of us have traumas that are stored in our pelvises, or we have shame, or we just like don't really see what the benefit of having this organ is unless we're trying to get pregnant, or we are pregnant. And so that's like a huge piece of my work, is educating women, because our womb, because it's a suspensory organ, it's held in place by all these ligaments, it can get out of alignment. And being out of alignment can cause all sorts of medical issues, but being in alignment, basically the result of that is like more flow in your life, more creativity, feeling grounded, feeling more alive, just like having that like juicy flow of like, you imagine all the energy that it takes to create a life within your body. Well, what if that's directed inward? Like, how alive can we be?
That's crazy to think about that. I never even would have thought about that. Well, and I think also just to think, I mean, I just turned 42, and, you know, I'm starting to get to the point where either like I have like my hormones are changing. There's definitely people I know who are like perimenopause, menopause, things like that. And I imagine that a lot of that can be really, a lot of what you do can be really helpful for people who are going through that as well.
Yeah, all of the life transitions of being a woman, actually.
Yeah.
They're confusing times.
Yeah, I know. I think it definitely can be. So I know that you mentioned that you were going to do like a little bit of a practice with us. So we've done, this is so lovely because I'm leading this challenge this week. I get to do all these like awesome practices, and I'm just really excited to do this. So if there's anything, I don't know if there's anything else you want to share about what you do or anything like that, or do you want to just jump into doing some?
I do just want to share that I also teach classes locally and remotely, just in embodiment, in listening to our bodies, and getting to know our wombs more and our hearts more, and the ways that those connect to one another. And I'm really loving sharing that information with women. It's like totally my passion project to share this stuff, because like you said, most of us don't know this is a thing. We don't know why it would be of value to connect unless we have something intense going on. So
I think like a lot of people, we just don't, unless you're going through, like you said, unless, like we talked about, like unless you're going through fertility issues or health issues, or we're getting to the point where our hormones are changing, or unless there's like something like wrong, it's often like we don't even really pay attention to, or I don't know. It's just not something we think about, right?
Nope. I was in that camp for sure.
Well, that's awesome. So, and your classes, all of those are on your website, correct?
They are, yeah.
Okay, because we have your website information up there, so people can know where to get in touch with you and see when you're doing all of your classes and things like that. So, I think that'll be super interesting. I can think of some women right now who I know could probably benefit from some of this work and would be really excited about it.
There are a lot of us out there. We just don't know that we need each other yet.
Totally. Awesome. Well, I'm ready to like do some grounding. I think you said you were going to do a grounding exercise today. So
yes.
So let's do it.
Just a little bit about what I'm going to guide us through. So the womb as kind of like our connection to the root is one of our connection points to the earth. So all of that like juicy, grounded earth energy, we have the opportunity to pull up into our bodies through having this connection with our womb. And we also have the opportunity to clear out anything that's held in there through that connection. So because it's hollow, it can hold things, and it can also fill up with things. So we get to choose what we want, held in our womb space. So for this practice, you can just get comfortable. Sitting upright is great. If you're already laying down, that's fine too.
Just gonna give a little back support here.
Yeah.
So, yep.
And you're welcome to close your eyes. I'm going to, it helps me to kind of get into it. And I like to place one hand on my heart, one hand on my womb space. The womb is a little lower than a lot of us think. It's like right above the pubic bone, typically. And you can just take a deep breath and feel your hands rise and fall in both of the spaces. And then we're just going to visualize this. And as we visualize it, we just picture that it is really happening. So we can imagine that there is like a little cord coming down from the womb space, through the cervix, through the vaginal canal. And you can drop that cord down into whatever you're sitting on, into the ground beneath you. If you're not on the bottom floor, you can see it going through the many floors of the building where you are, all the way until it gets to the earth, and then it travels down into the core of the earth. So this is where transformation can happen, because anything that you are storing in the womb that is no longer serving you, that you're ready to release, you can go ahead and allow the earth to hold for you, and even allow the earth to transmute, to burn it up, to change it into something different through the fire. And this is a practice that you can come back to, so we won't take too long here with the releasing, but this is something that you can always do. You always have access to this, and you don't need permission to access it. This is between your body and the earth. And then on your next inhale, you can imagine that this beautiful mossy green energy is coming up through that cord and filling your womb space with this like beautiful, grounded, juicy, alive energy of the earth. Right now it's beautiful and springtime, almost summer, and we have so much of this like bright green outside. So like that's the kind of like lovely, alive energy that we're allowing to pull in. And then on your next inhale, go ahead and pull that energy up through your whole body. And what we're doing here is just allowing ourselves to feel at home here on this earth, no matter what's going on outside our windows, no matter how chaotic the world is right now. We have this sense of groundedness, like the ground literally underneath us in our womb space that never leaves us. And we can begin to develop a new relationship with our wombs that is exciting. You can slowly open your eyes. Just check in with yourself, see how it feels.
I have to tell you, when you said all the like earth energy, I thought of Moana. But that
you can tell your mom.
I know, you can tell I'm a mom because I've seen Moana like a bazillion. It's such a good movie though. And there's like, it's like when the island turns from the fire and then she turns like back into this like lush green island with all the moss and the flowers and everything. That's exactly what I was imagining.
Yes, that's what we're doing.
I know. I was like, oh, I'm like that Princess Island from Moana right now.
Yes, all the flowers up inside.
I was like, I had a crown on my head. Yeah, all the things. That was really cool. It's funny because I just never would have like really spent the time. I cue a lot in my yoga classes to put your hand on your belly and your hand on your heart. But you know, to have it in a little different spot, I was like, oh, I do feel like I'm kind of like being held, and yeah, I don't know. It was really, felt really nice.
Oh,
So
I like that.
oh, thanks, Caitlin. Well, for those of you, if any of you all are interested in getting more information from Caitlin, her info is in all the stuff in the chat. She is also, for those of you that are officially doing the challenge, you got the workbook. Her information is also in the workbook as well. So you can see that information. And yeah, if you want to get a womb massage, or you want to meet with Caitlin, or you just have anything that you want to work on with her, then reach out to her. And Caitlin, I think you said, did you say you're doing a discount for people doing the challenge? No, I don't know. I don't know if you were. I couldn't remember if you were or not. So I think we have all of that in there in the workbook, though, for those of you that are actually doing the challenge. So awesome.
And I do offer free 15-minute consultations. So if you're just like interested in the work and you're like, but I still don't know what this is, just set up an appointment and we'll talk and we'll figure out what your needs are.
Perfect.
That's
perfect. That's what I was looking for. I was like, I know that you had something. I think we talked about the 15-minute consult. So that's awesome. So thank you for chatting with me today. Thanks for sharing with everyone about what you do. I think it's just so awesome to have this community of women and to know all these different resources, because I really feel like for some people, you know, they're like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And some people are like, okay, I don't know if I really am ready to connect with my womb today. I'm going to do something different. And that's totally fine.
Too.
It's just knowing what's out there, I think, is so helpful, and just knowing what resources we have at our disposal. So anyway, thank you for sharing your lovely information, and everyone else, we'll see you soon. Bye, Caitlin.
Bye.